Good morning, Adelisas. This is Mrs. Consulliver. As you know, none of you, I know that you did not take the Harry Potter series with you over the weekend before the school closure. I didn't take mine either. All of my Harry Potter things are at school and I didn't bring them with me. But I was able to get an ebook for Harry Potter, and we're going to start reading Harry Potter every single day. And I love that because I know you guys are a big fan of Harry Potter. So bear with me, and I'm going to make it a little bit exciting by putting some Harry Potter music while I read. We're going to be reading 4 pages a day, so that will be fun. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we're going to start from Mad-Eye Moody, which is chapter 13. Okay, that's page 193. All right, let's start. Mad-Eye Moody. The storm had blown itself out by the following morning, though the ceiling in the great hall was still gloomy. Heavy clouds of peachy gray swirled overhead as Harry, Ron, and Hermione examined their new course schedules at breakfast. A few seats along, Fred, George, and Lee Jordan were discussing magical methods of aging themselves and bluffing their way into the Twizzlers tournament. "Today's not bad. Outside all morning," said Ron, who was running his finger down the Monday column of his schedule. "Herbology with the Hufflepuffs and care of magical creatures? Dang it. We're still with the Slytherins. Double divination this afternoon," Harry groaned. Looking down divination was his least favorite subject, apart from potions. Professor Trelawney kept predicting Harry's death, which he found extremely annoying. I don't blame Harry. I will be annoyed if someone keeps telling me, "You're going to die, Mrs. Consulliver." "You should have given it up like me, shouldn't you?" said Hermione briskly, buttering herself some toast. "Then you would be doing something sensible like arithmetic." "You're eating again, I noticed," said Ron, watching Hermione adding liberal amounts of jam on her toast too. "I've decided there are better ways of making a stand about Earth rights," said Hermione haughtily. "Yeah, and you were hungry," said Ron, grinding. There was a sudden rustling noise above them, and 100 owls came soaring through the open windows, carrying the morning mail. Instinctively, Harry looked up, but there was no sign of white among the mass of brown and gray. The owls circled the tables, looking for the people to whom their letters and packages were addressed. A large tawny owl soared down the Neville Longbottom and deposited a parcel into his lap. Neville almost always forgot to pack something. On the other side of the hall, Draco Malfoy's eagle owl had landed on his shoulder, carrying what looked like his usual supply of sweets and cakes from home. Lucky. Trying to ignore the sinking feeling of disappointment in his stomach, Harry returned to his porridge. Was it possible that something had happened to Hedwig, and that Sirius hadn't even got his letter? His preoccupation lasted all the way across the sodden vegetable patch, until they arrived in Greenhouse 3. But here he was distracted by Professor Sprout showing the class the ugliest plants Harry had ever seen. Indeed, they looked less like plants than thick black giant slugs, protruding vertically out of the soil. "Bobbitubers," Professor Sprout told them briskly. "They need squeezing. You will collect the pus." "The what?" said Finnegan, sounding revolted. "Pus, Finnegan, pus," said Professor Sprout, "and it's extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus. I say in these bottles, wear your dragon hide gloves. It can do funny things to the skin when undiluted. Bobbitubers pus." Squeezing the Bobbitubers was disgusting but utterly satisfying. As each swelling was popped, a large amount of thick yellowish green liquid burst forth. Ugh. "This keep Madame Pomfrey happy," said Professor Sprout, stopping the last bottle with a cork. "An excellent remedy for the more stubborn forms of acne. Bobbituber pus should stop students resorting to desperate measures to rid themselves of pimples. Like poor Eloise Nugent," said Hannah Abbott. "Silly girl," said Professor Sprout. "Yes, Isaac," said Professor Sprout. shaking her head. But Madame Pomfrey fixed her nose back on in the end. A booming bell echoed from the castle across the wet grounds, signaling the end of the lesson, and the class separated. The Hufflepuffs climbing the stone step for Transfiguration, and the Gryffindors heading in the other direction, down the sloping lawn toward Hagrid's small wooden cabin. Hagrid was standing outside his hut, one hand on the collar and his enormous black bearded fang. Yes, sweetie. There were several open wooden crates on the ground at his feet, and Fawn was whimpering and straining at his collar, apparently keen to investigate the contents more closely. "Morning," Hagrid said, grinning at Harry, Ron, and Hermione. "But wait," feared the Slytherin. "They won't want to miss this." "Come again," said Ron. Hagrid pointed down in the crates. Squeaked Lavender Brown, jumping backwards. Just about sum it up the blast end and screws in Harry's opinion. They looked like deformed, shell-less lobster, horribly pale and slimy looking, with legs sticking out in very odd places and no visible heads. There were about 100 of them in each crate, each about 6 inches long. "All just hatched," said Harry proudly. Hagrid proudly, so you'll be able to raise himself. "Thought we'd make a bit of a project of it. Sorry, it's really hard for me to read, Hagrid." The Slytherins had arrived. The speaker was big Draco Malfoy. "And why would we want to raise them?" Craven and Goyle were chuckling. "I mean, what do they do?" asked Malfoy. "What is the point of them?" Hagrid opened his mouth, apparently thinking hard. There was a few seconds pause. Then he roughly, "That's next lesson, Malfoy. You're just feeding them today. Now you'll want to try on a few different things. I've never had them before, not sure what they'll go for. I got an ant eggs on frog livers and a bit of Grat snake." "First pus and now this," muttered Simmons. Nothing but deep affection for Hagrid could have made Harry, Ron, and Hermione pick up a quilchy handful of frog liver and lower them into the crates to tempt the blast end and screws. Harry couldn't suppress the suspicion that the whole thing was entirely pointless. "Ouch!" yelled Dean Thomas after about 10 minutes. "It got me!" Harry hurried over them, looking anxious. "It's an exploded," said Dean angrily, showing Harry a burn off his hand. "Oh, yeah, that has happened when they blast off," said Harry, nodding. Said Lavender Brown again. Hagrid was sad, pointing. "Well, I can certainly see why we're trying to keep them alive," said Malfoy sarcastically. "Who wouldn't want pets that can't burn, steam, and bite all at once? Just because they're not very pretty, it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean they're not useful," Hermione snapped. "Dragon blood's amazingly magical, but you wouldn't want a dragon for a pet, would you?" Harry and Ron grinned at Hagrid, who gave them a furtive smile from behind his bushy beard. Hagrid would have liked nothing better than a pet dragon, as Harry, Ron, and Hermione knew only too well. He had owned one for a brief period during this first year, a vicious Norgin Ridgeback by the name of Norbert. Harry simply loved monstrous creatures. The more lethal, the better. Okay, that's it. I read 5 pages. Okay, Delistas. Hope that you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful weekend. Mwah. I sure love and miss you. Class of 2032.